You're a computer nerd. I think the whole class wants to hear engineer joke. Yeah. It goes like this, okay? During the French Revolution, they were chopping people's heads like there's no tomorrow. On this particular day, business is slow. They're only doing 3 people. A Catholic priest, a drunk. You know the goal.
No, but it
So,
sounds horrible.
Catholic priest, a drunk, and an engineer. Okay? I'm telling this joke to you, so you can use this joke to remind him all the time. So the Catholic priest was the first one coming up. So they say, Padre, you want to face up or you want to face down? Padre says, I'm a Padre, so I'm going to face up. All right, face up, down you go. Putting up the blade, let it go. The blade, come down. Hovering from the neck. The blade comes to a complete stop. Divine intervention. All right, Padre, you're free to go. Next up, the drunk. All right, how do you want to do this? Face up, face down. All right, since the Padre was facing up, I'm going to face up too. So, all right, down you go, face up. So pull up the blade, let it go. Blade comes down, hovering from the neck, come to a complete stop. Divine intervention. All right, off you go. Okay, off you go. All right, Mr. Engineer, you're the third. You want to face up or face down? Engineer goes, okay, why not? I'll face up too. Okay, so face up, down you go. The executioner is pulling up the blade. The engineer lay down here and goes, stop! I can see what your problem is. I can fix it for you. All right.
What is learning? And what is learning at your current level, which is fairly advanced? What is learning at kindergarten level, elementary school level, high school level, junior high, senior high, middle school, what have you in America or anywhere in the world? What is learning at the undergrad, university level? What is learning at postgrad, master degree, PhD? What is learning when you are out there in the real world, in the world of business? What is learning then? If you came here to learn emotional intelligence and how to apply emotional intelligence in the world of business, in terms of leadership, leading a team, you are learning at a fairly advanced level. Quite often, not only what got you here cannot get you to your next level, you also need to learn a whole level of thinking, a whole level of learning. It's like you've been living in a 2-dimensional world and you now need to understand what is the 3-dimensional world. Okay? You got a car, okay, you got a Toyota, you can get up to, say, 60 miles an hour carrying 5 people. But can the same Toyota get up to 600 miles an hour? 6,000 miles an hour. Can it carry 5 people, 50 people, 500 people, 5,000 people at 6,000 miles an hour? You would need a different type of technology, a whole different level of engineering. Okay? So, to learn how to apply emotional intelligence in leadership, okay, it will require you to obtain a whole new level of thinking, a whole new level of learning, a whole new level of analyzing things. Allow me to use some simple examples. Let's say 2,000 years ago, okay, Aristotle was one of the smartest person to everybody. And one of the things that he said is heavier objects fall faster than lighter objects. And that was held up as the ultimate truth for almost 2,000 years. Nobody questioned it because, hey, Aristotle said so, and Aristotle has been the smartest person in the ancient world. That was so until Galileo Galilei did an experiment. Okay? And he did a thought experiment, and then he did a real experiment. In his thought experiment, he tied the two objects together, the heavier and then the lighter. Say one is 10 times heavier than the one that's lighter. Say one is 10 pounds, the other one is 1 pound. So he thought, if I tie them together, the combined object is 11 pounds. Now, if I were to drop them, okay, will the combined object, okay, will the lighter object and the heavier object, will the lighter object slow down the heavier object, or will the heavier object pull the lighter object to go down even faster? Or would the combined object, being 11 pounds, go down even faster than the 10-pound object? So he experimented. He got two balls. One weighed 1 pound, the other one weighed 10 pounds. And then he climbed to the tallest building he could find, okay, leaned over the window, the balcony, and dropped the two objects. One is 1 pound, the other one is 10 pounds. Guess what? They both reached the ground at the same time, the same speed or velocity. Okay? So whatever Aristotle's theory was shattered. Okay? And fast forward a little bit, okay, Sir Isaac Newton studied it even further, and he put everything into mathematical formulas. Okay, F equal ma, Newton's second law. Okay, now fast forward even further, we have Albert Einstein, and then he came up with the theory of relativity, and again shattering Newtonian physics. Okay, so thinking back, okay, Aristotle, okay, what he failed to take into account is he was comparing a little rock with a piece of feather. When you drop them, okay, here on Earth with the air, the feather is being slowed down by the resistance of the air. Aristotle was incomplete in his thinking. He forgot to he didn't manage to take air resistance into consideration. Now, Newtonian physics, okay, to us, okay, is an approximation of Einstein's theory of relativity at lower speed. Okay, Newtonian physics is pretty good, but Einstein is even more advanced. So I'm using these examples, the progress in physics, in the science of physics, with our understanding of the natural world around us to illustrate the point of thinking and learning and the next level of learning, which is to realize, okay, so that was our understanding of something, and why did we have that understanding? What did we not know? What are the new revelation to us So now our understanding is more complete. Not only you need to understand your old understanding is not accurate, but you also need to figure out why did you or people thought so back then. What information did they not have? What factors did they not take into consideration? So that's just a quick word on learning, and it's such an important concept if you are here to learn emotional intelligence and how to utilize your understanding, your mastery of emotional intelligence, and apply those information, those wisdom in leadership, in business, in management. Now, a word about communication content versus communication style. Educational content versus educational style. And learning content versus learning style. There are 7 billion of us here on this planet and counting. So there are 7 billion different communication styles. Okay? And as a leader, as a leader of people, you should be aware of this, and you should practice reverse double standard. That's a term that I coined by myself, reverse double standard. That is, you step up to the next level and you take the wrong end of the stick for yourself. And what I mean by that in this context, that is, as a leader, you need to understand when you are communicating to other people, when you are trying to explain things to other people, a lot of people take the style over the content. If the style is not to their liking, they reject the content. So you, as the leader, you need to be aware of this, But you, as the leader, who is also a constant learner, so when it comes to you learning, when it comes to you receiving information, you need to be aware that the style the information is delivered to you may or may not be the way that you would prefer it to be. It may not be the style that's most suitable to you or to your liking because, hey, there are 7 billion of us here on this planet. So try to pay attention to the content of the information that you're trying to receive, not so much to the style. I have heard all kinds of excuses from all sorts of people. For example, they read a book, and then everyone else says it's a great book with great educational content. We learn so much, but this one individual would say, "Oh, that book is no good." And then you ask them, "Why do you think that book is no good? Everybody else liked the book. Everybody else learned so much from that book. Why do you hate it so much?" And then this person will come back with, "Oh, I don't like the book because I don't like the way the book was structured. I don't like the way the book was printed using the wrong font. I didn't like the font. Or it's not printed on recycled paper. Or I didn't like the design of the front cover." Or I bought it from Amazon and was delivered late. Or it was delivered partially damaged. Because UPS partially damaged the book, therefore I hate the author, the person who wrote the book. This is how a lot of people think. Okay, they come to a live seminar in a hotel seminar room, and then at the end of the day, they would say, "Oh, the seminar was no good. The education was no good." You ask them why. Well, I did not like the hotel seminar room. Well, what about the room that you did not like? Well, the flooring was in the wrong color. Or the window curtain should have been closed, or it should have been open. Or the lighting was the wrong color. Or the coffee didn't taste right to the way I liked it. Okay, I didn't like how the coffee tasted. Or they provided paper cup as opposed to china. Okay, ceramics. Or they provided china as opposed to paper cups. That's why I don't like it. That's why the seminar was no good. Oh, they did not provide free lunch. Oh, they only gave me half an hour for lunch. Or they only gave me an hour for lunch. I wanted an hour and a half. Therefore, the seminar was no good. The education was no good. Yeah, this is how a lot of people think and act and live their lives. They focus so much on style versus content, and you still wondering why they stuck in life. They don't develop, they don't advance, they don't get to where they want to go, and they keep on making the same complaints. Okay, so as the leader, I'm sure, okay, you hold yourself to a higher level of accountability, and you're more mature than that. So you pay attention to the educational content as opposed to the educational style when you are learning. But when you are teaching, when you are coaching your employees, you pay attention to the individual style that's required, that's needed by different employees on your team. Okay? So just a word on content versus style. It's rather important when it comes to learning, especially when it comes to learning this kind of higher level thinking that most people don't even think about. They're not even aware that this topic of emotional intelligence, they don't even know that this topic existed. Certainly, they are certainly not aware that emotional intelligence can be and should be utilized for leadership, for management. All right? Now, we cannot talk about emotional intelligence and applying emotional intelligence in the area of leadership, in the area of management, without talking about the common confusion between reality versus wish. Okay, so many people are confused about these two concepts. For example, they say things like the weather should be nice. The weather forecast should be accurate. Lawyers should not whistle. Politicians should not lie. Employees should consider the team's greater benefit before their own personal, individual, selfish interest. And job applicants, should not lie on their resume. Job applicants should not lie during a job interview. Is that a reality or is that a wish? Okay, we would all wish that applicants never lie on their resumes. We would all like to wish, and applicants never lie during their job interviews. But is that the reality? We would like to wish that buses, trains, and airplanes always run on time. But is that the reality? We would like to wish the lawyers don't weasel and politicians don't lie. That is a wish. Okay, but that is not the reality. All right? And we would like to wish that the weather is always perfect to our condition. It only rains once a week and only at night between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. It never rains during the day when we're out there driving, so cars don't need wipers. That is a wish, but is that the reality? No. Okay, there are a lot of things that we wish, like the computers should just work. The computers will never malfunction and cause us any problem. What is the reality? The reality is anything can go wrong will, and it will happen at the worst possible time. Okay? So we need to draw a distinction between reality versus wish. And so many people are confused about these two concepts, and it gets in the way of their learning of emotional intelligence, and their learning of how to better understand emotional intelligence in their own lives and also in their leadership. The next confusion that quite often gets in the way of people learning emotional intelligence is people confuse stating the fact that something is happening or predicting that something is going to happen. People confuse that with, oh, so you want that to happen. Okay, not the same. Saying the computer is malfunctioning is not to be confused with I want the computer to malfunction. Predicting the computer will malfunction is not to be confused with my desire for that computer to malfunction. Okay? Saying if you keep on eating sugar, you will get diabetes is not to be confused with I want you to get diabetes or I wish diabetes upon you. Okay? Quite often saying if you keep on eating sugar, you will get diabetes is because I don't want you to get diabetes. Saying some job applicants lie on their resume and lie during their job interviews is not to be confused that I prefer all job applicants to lie on their resume and during their job interviews. Saying that, okay, pointing that out, that a certain percentage of job applicants will lie, or this particular resume is packed full of lies, or this person we are interviewing, he is lying right now. Saying that is not to be confused with I want them to lie. I prefer them to be liars, or I want all of them to lie, or I believe all of them are liars. Pointing that out is because we need to filter out those who lie. Okay? So stating the fact is not to be confused with wanting that thing to happen. Stating it's going to rain, computer will break down, okay, buses, trains, and airplanes might run late. It's not to be confused with wanting the computer to break down, the weather to rain on our parade, all the buses, the trains, or airplanes to run late. Saying some politicians lie, or this politician is lying right now, is not to be confused with I want all politicians to lie, or I prefer politicians to lie. All right? This is such a common confusion when people try to learn emotional intelligence. And this confusion gets in the way of people learning emotional intelligence, learning people skills, learning how to manage people, learning how to communicate, how to deal with people. All right? So just watch out for that confusion that may come up when you're learning emotional intelligence. Another common confusion that gets in the way of people learning, especially in learning emotional intelligence, is people don't understand that tools are moral neutral. All right? Tools are moral neutral. A computer, a knife, and a gun, they can all be used either for good or for evil. It's up to the user who is using the computer, the knife, and the gun to use it for good. And science, engineering, technology, or communication techniques can all be used either for good or for evil. The tools themselves are moral neutral. There is no moral value in terms of the tools. Okay? So science helped us to understand that gravity exists, okay? And Newtonian physics, the earth is not flat, okay? The earth rotates around the sun, not the sun rotates around the earth, all right? There are 4 seasons, okay? Why there's night and day, and so on and so forth. Those understanding themselves are moral neutral. There is no moral value in good or bad in understanding them. Yeah, sure. Trying to understand them, okay, is a good endeavor. But the understanding itself, okay, and then subsequent inventions as a result of those, like our calendar, like physics, like the discovery of the periodic table, the elemental chart, okay? All of those are moral neutral. They can be used for good or they can be used for bad. So is communication techniques. So is understanding human nature. Human nature itself and your understanding of human nature, they are both moral neutral. There's no moral good or bad. It's up to you to use them for good. And what's one person's definition of good is not necessarily another person's understanding of good. What's beneficial to one person could be harmful to another person. Okay? So when we talk about the understanding of human nature, the understanding of human emotions, okay, there's no moral to it. Your understanding of human nature, of human emotions, your understanding of it is moral neutral. There's no good, there's no bad. It's like medicine, okay? A medical doctor who understands physics, chemistry, biology, human physiology, a medical doctor can use those understanding for good, to cure a person. They could also use it for bad, for evil. And there have been crazy scientists. They have done bad things to other people using their understanding of physics, chemistry, biology, human physiology. Okay? Their understanding of physics, chemistry, biology, human physiology, they are all accurate. It's an accurate understanding. It's a good understanding. It's a solid understanding. The understanding itself is neither good nor bad. It's up to the doctor on how he applies those understanding. Okay? Whether he wants to use them for good or for evil. Okay? So let's clear that confusion so they don't get in the way of you learning emotional intelligence and how to apply your understanding of emotional intelligence in leadership, in management, in helping you employees to grow to the next level, to their better capabilities. And now we come into the most exciting part of the class on emotional intelligence. Okay? Do we really make decisions rationally, logically, or do we make decisions emotionally? And if you compare us, Homo sapiens, with our closest evolutionary cousin, the chimpanzee, okay, our brain is 3 times bigger than theirs. Their brain is 1/3 of the size of ours. And what we have, which takes up 2/3 of a brain, is this thing called the neocortex, the frontal neocortex, which does the function of logical thinking, rational analysis, rational thinking. If you observe chimps, be they in the wild or in a zoo, okay, if you observe them like a scientist, like a zoologist, okay, they are very emotional. They are, I want my bananas and I want them now. Give me my bananas. If you don't, I'm going to get upset. Okay? And they squabble, they quarrel amongst themselves all the time. Okay? Compared to us, okay, they are very emotional. Now, what about us? Okay, we appear to be less emotional compared to our closest evolutionary cousin. But here's the thing. Just because we have the human brain, we have the neocortex, right? We put humans on the moon, okay? We sent spacecrafts all the way out there. We invented the internet, right? We built the modern society. Just because we have the neocortex, it doesn't mean that we are nothing but the head. And the fact of the matter is, all that quote-unquote animal stuff below the head, below the brain, they are all still here with us, all right? They continue to function and then carry us on, all right? So the thing is, evolution can only build on the existing structure, whatever is already here in existence. Evolution cannot start from scratch all over again. Like version 2, version 3, version 4. Okay, what design mistake did we humans make? Did we engineers make at this engineering firm with this software, with this hardware? What mistake did we make? And what lesson did we learn? And what new hardware, what new software technology and tools do we have now that we did not have a year ago, 10 years ago? So let's redesign this software. Let's redesign this car. Let's redesign this building. Let's redesign this car tire using complete new technology. No, that's human design. Okay, that is not applicable in evolution. All right. Now, the way evolution works is when DNAs, when they copy, when they create a duplicate with double helix or what have you, it's an analog copy. It's not a digital copy. So with analog copies, there are errors. With digital copy, it's either we made a perfect duplicate, it's exactly the same, or it's garbage and the copying process, the copying operation has failed. The reason that is so is because when you make a digital copy, there's error checking. We're going to go back and check and make sure everything is exactly the same. Or we're going to call it a failure and try it again. Okay, we don't have a copy. But with analog copying, it's more like a photocopier or a fax machine. Okay, you can see if you make photocopy of photocopy of photocopy of photocopy after so many generations, the quality will just degrade, and there might even be errors. Now, if you keep on faxing and refaxing and faxing and refaxing and refaxing and refaxing, you will see the image is out of whack compared to the previous generation, or it can be really out of whack compared to the original if you faxed it, say, 10 times. Okay. Analog copying is what we have in the world of biology, which is the key to evolution. So when analog copying of our genes, of our DNA, of the double helix makes error, the next generation is slightly different. All right. Now, this slight difference can be advantageous or not advantageous to the individual of the next generation, especially if the environment does not change. The weather, the amount of sunshine, water, other animals want to eat us, and the kind of animals or plants that we're going to eat, or what have you. The struggle to obtain food, to find security, and to successfully mate and reproduce, if those challenges do not change because the environment does not change, then you can see, okay, the result of evolution after many generations. Those as a result of DNA copying and being not exactly the same, and producing the next generation with slightly different features, capabilities, it's called a evolutionary trait. If those traits are advantageous for the next generation, the new individual, then we call it the trait that's advantageous evolutionarily. Okay, so that's how evolution works, and it can only work by building on the previous generation, on what has come before. Okay, just take a look at your own appendix. That is a leftover from an evolutionary past. It's a thing that we don't need anymore, but there's no fresh new design. And in the new design, this whatever it was is not with us anymore. Okay, it's not like a car that the next generation, the newer generation we have now, we don't have ashtrays anymore because smoking is now no longer in fashion. we don't have that in the world of evolution, in the world of biology. So if you observe our closest evolutionary cousin, chimps, okay, compared to Homo sapiens, chimps appears to be extremely emotional compared to Homo sapiens. Okay, it's external stimulation and then put them into a emotional state, and then they would act according to the emotional state they're in. If they see food, okay, if they sense danger, if there's a lion or there's a tiger coming, all right, or if there's a bigger chimp, okay, coming to bully them or steal their food, or what have you. So it's external stimulation, put them into an emotional state, and then they would act according to the emotional state they're in. Now, I'm sure if you go trace it all the way back by the evolutionary tree, you can trace back enough to some very primitive beings in the animal world, like an insect or what have you. They probably don't even have an emotional state or different emotional states. It's just mechanical reflexes, all right, or just biological reflexes. Food, danger, or cold weather, hot weather, okay. Now, you can even trace this back to non-animal living beings, namely plants, okay. Plants probably don't have emotional states, not to the extent, not to the degree of Homo sapiens or chimpanzees. And plants, they do have their biological reaction towards external stimulation. Water, no water, sunshine, no sunshine, too hot, too cold, and the plants would react or respond to whatever the external stimulation for their own survival and for the survival of their own species, which is reproduction. And as far as humans, okay, examples of a simple primitive emotional states can be hunger, okay, or you're hungry and then you smell good food, all right, or you're hot or you're cold, okay. Try to just imagine, okay, we go to Alaska in winter in January, all right, when it's minus a million degrees out there, 10 feet of snow, what have you. Try to get out of your hotel lobby and into the outdoors wearing nothing but shorts and a t-shirt. And then try to tell yourself or tell someone, don't feel cold. You are going to feel cold, okay? And you are going to want to get back into the hotel lobby. Now, let's say if, for whatever reason, okay, just a thought experiment, okay, the hotel front door locks on you, so you can't get back in. Either you don't know how to open it, or your key card is not working, or what have you. For whatever reason, you can't get the door to open. How will that make you feel? You're going to be panicking. You're going to feel fear, okay? Those things will come to you naturally, all right? Now, let's try the opposite example. Let's say we go to Phoenix, Arizona in August. And you go outdoor, no air conditioning. When it's 1,000,000 degrees, okay, and it's extremely hot. You try to tell yourself, don't feel hot, all right? Don't sweat. That is not realistic. You are going to feel hot, all right? Now, if you lock yourself in a car and the car is parked under the hot Phoenix summer sun, and then the temperature in the car start rising, okay, you're going to start sweating, you're going to start breathing heavily, and you're going to start panicking. You will want to get out of the car. Now, for whatever reason, if you could not get the door to open, you are going to feel fear of your health, or the fear of your life, and then you will start panicking. Okay, so don't tell people, don't get angry, don't feel angry, don't feel cold, don't feel hot. It's not reality based, and it's counterproductive. Okay, and what if someone threatens you with something, all right, you are going to feel anger, you are going to feel fear, and you might even feel humiliated if they successfully bully you or threaten you or taking advantage of you or what have you. Okay, so emotional states is part of reality. It's part of our biological reality. It's kind of like water has three states, solid, ice, liquid, water, or gas, steam. Okay, depends on the outside condition, depends on the temperature, and then the pressure. Water is in one of the three states. Same thing with animals, same thing with Homo sapiens. It depends on the external stimulation, depends on what's happening, and we, humans or other animals, will be put into the corresponding emotional state. And this mechanism is extremely old. It's as old as the hills. And this is how we survived and lived all this time, all these generations, since the beginning of life here on Earth. Okay? And external stimulation, and then we see the stimulation, and then we get into the corresponding emotional state. And that is just the reality, the nature of animals, the nature of human being. All right? Don't argue with reality. Okay? And just because we have this logical thinking head, and we've been to the moon, we built the internet, okay, it doesn't mean that the rest of the stuff is not here. All the animal stuff, they are still here with us, all right? It's like someone saying as a joke, oh, look, we invented the airplane, so we made gravity disappear. No, we did not. Yes, we invented the airplane, okay? We made some heavier than air objects fly up there, okay? It doesn't mean that we made gravity disappear. Basically, we studied the way of the nature, all right? We have a thorough understanding of how nature is. And then we used our engineering know-how, and then we built tools, machineries that are heavier than air and can fly, okay? But it doesn't mean that we made gravity disappear. Gravity is still here. If there's any mechanical malfunction, if the right bunch of stuff that don't work at the same time all happens to not work at the same time, then that airplane, that heavier than air object, okay, it will come crashing down and then kill everyone that's on the plane. So just because we invented the airplane, it doesn't mean that we made gravity disappear. And just because we are capable of performing logical thinking, it doesn't mean that the rest of the human, the rest of the animal stuff, it doesn't mean that they are gone. They are still here with us. We are very much biology, okay? We are very much animal. We are very much emotional driven. So how do we make decisions? All right? Most, if not all of our decisions are made emotionally. And then we use our intellect, we use our rational thinking to backward justify our emotional decisions. Let that sink in, okay? That is a big truth bomb that I just dropped on you, all right? Example decisions that are important or not important and are made emotionally are, okay, what's for lunch? Say at work, okay, you get an hour lunch break and you go to the shopping mall nearby at the International Food Court, and there are 5, 10, 20 different places, okay? There's the hamburger, there's the Chinese, there's the Japanese, there's the Mexican, there's the Italian, there's the Korean, all right? You walk around, all right? And then you make your selection, all right? You make your selection based on whatever takes your fancy, okay? And then what about other decisions, okay? Should we go to college? Which college do we want to go to? And what to major in college? Okay, those are all emotional decisions, all right? And after college, what's your first job? Who do you work for as your first job? And what city to live in, all right? And which apartment to rent, which car to buy, which house to buy, all right? Back in college, who do you date? Who do you date short term? Who do you date long term? And after college, who do you marry? When do you get married? And when to have kids? How many kids you have? So many of this stuff appears to be logical decisions, but no, they are all emotional decisions. And then we use our rational thinking capability to backward justify our decisions. And also, in some cases, okay, the desire to do something is emotional, but the method to get it done is rational. For example, okay, space exploration, all right? If NASA was a commercial airline, okay, they have the worst safety records, okay? So many astronauts have been killed by NASA, all right? Yet, we still have candidates, applicants who want to become an astronaut, knowing the danger involved, and they still want to go. Why? Because scientific study, okay, scientific discovery, space exploration, it's a emotional urge. It's curiosity, and curiosity is a emotional urge, and it's a very good emotional urge. Without curiosity, we humans wouldn't be here. We're not gonna have internet, cell phone, airplane, and internet, computers, okay, electricity, okay, modern cars, air conditioning. No, we'd probably still be living in caves. Actually, we probably wouldn't be able to find a cave. How would you know that cave is good in terms of providing a bit of a wealth? Warmth, and away from rain and wind and all that. It's curiosity. You saw a cave and you explored. You want to see what's in the cave. Either a tiger, either a lion, or either nothing, so we can occupy it. So curiosity is an emotion, and it's been serving us very well. Maybe that's why evolution put it there in us, okay? So the desire to go into space is caused, it's pushed, it's driven by curiosity. And curiosity is an emotion, it's an emotional state. But the way to engage in space exploration, that's all science, that's all rational, and that's all facts, okay? You use physics, math, chemistry, And everything else in science, all right, to design spacecraft, okay, to launch it, to get out of there, and to not carry human, or bring humans back, those are all done with science, with reason, with facts, with logic. But the desire to go there, to get out of there, away from this planet, that desire is all emotion.